you by HP. You know, millennials have a reputation for distrust in financial markets, but is that really the case? A new survey conducted by Vested had some very interesting results on the topic. Here to break it all down. First on Cheddar is Dan Simon. He's the CEO of Vested. He returns to the show. Dan, great to have you back.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
You, my man. Okay, so you said that one of the most significant findings from the study is attitudes about finances among this group and the ways that it varies. So let's start with any potential surprises or things that you took away that jumped out at you that maybe you weren't expecting.
Yeah, sure. So the first thing to really understand about the millennial cohort is it's vast, right? It's everybody 18 to sort of 36. So it's the largest generational cohort in history. So whenever you read a statistic, particularly about financial attitudes to money from millennials, take it with a pinch of salt, right? So because the attitudes vary dramatically between old millennials, young millennials, male millennials, female millennials, and that's really what we dug into in this study. So here's a statistic, right? 59% of millennials are reluctant to move away from banks that have a physical branch, right? Which you'd think is quite a sizable number, right? For a generation you associate with being kind of mobile first or digitally native, nearly 60% say they're unwilling to go totally digital with banking. But of course, when you dig into the numbers, what you're seeing is older millennials, that's very much the case. And then the younger you get, 18 to 24 millennials, are way more open to going digital. So it really is a generation that incorporates a lot of different attitudes.
So it seems like we always need a better way to differentiate between what's currently being considered millennial in general, since, I mean, that's a big age group to all group into one pile.
It really is, and it's not just age that it breaks down across. I mean, men and women, for example, female millennials significantly less likely to take a credit card than their male counterparts. On the economy and general trust and feelings about the economy, male millennials more than twice as likely to feel confident about the future of the economy than female millennials, 34% to 17%. So, you really do have to kind of dig into this generation in a number of different ways.
Right. One of the other interesting stats that I liked from your survey is that you say 79% of all millennials report being unaffected by the financial crisis. That's a large number. Now break that down in terms of the age groups.
That's exactly right, because that's a great example of how things vary very much by age. Of course, taken in totality, you'd think, oh, well, millennials don't care about the financial crisis. What's happening with that 79% stat is that young millennials, obviously, are too young to really have been impacted by it. But that 21% that did say they knew about the financial crisis weren't just impacted, they were heavily impacted. This is the 35-year-old who was graduating university right into the middle of the Great Recession, right? So, that's a small grouping, but it's a very vocal grouping, and it's shaped their entire worldview about money and about the financial industry. And that may be why trust across the board ranks so low.
Right. And how does that affect your business in terms of helping banks try to create messaging around their businesses?
It's great. That's a problem to solve for, right? What we found staggering. We offered millennials the choice to rank institutions by most trusted to least trusted, right? Including government, press, big technology. Overwhelmingly, 80% of millennials ranked financial services and banking last, beneath press, beneath government. Even in today's...
This is about trust.
Right.
You're talking like trust in institutions, trust in all these things.
Absolutely.
This is kind of incongruent from the first number, this 80% number that they report being unaffected by the crisis. So why are they feeling unaffected but now distrusting of banks?
Well, one of the things maybe we also asked them that about the Wells Fargo, something a little bit more in recent memory, right? 59% of young millennials, 18 to 22, were aware and understood about the Wells Fargo crisis or scandal. 74% of older millennials, 30 and above, knew and fully understood what was going on with Wells Fargo. So this is a generation that's kind of very tuned in to some of the problems that we see in the financial services industry. And just to go back to that trust point, while 80% rank banks under press and government, which, by the way, I think is crazy given where we are with the press and the government today, 92% ranked big technology as their most trusted institution.
Tech as most trusted institution?
Most trusted, 92%, so overwhelming majority. And that may be because even the oldest millennial, 35, is still too young to have been impacted by the dot-com boom and bust, right? So getting back to your question about what, how we might help